Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and today we are here with a Loki spoiler discussion and season 2 theories, basically discussing all the big things that happened in the last episode of Loki, since we never got to do a full-on spoiler review. And as we said in the initial reaction video, that we did want to bring guests on, so we've got a load of guests today.
A lot more than
Say
usual.
hello everyone.
Okay, let's just start in order so that we don't talk over each other, because we're doing this over Discord and the audio could be potentially awful. So let's just start. So we got Top Man Sid, old friend of the channel. Say hello, Sid.
Good to be back. Nice one.
Thanks for being here, man. Jay, say hello.
Hello there. Always a pleasure to be here.
Alright, Dylan, say hello.
Hello.
And then we have Kamyab, who's a new guest and first time to the channel. Go check out Kamyab's channel, Comedy Combos, in the description. Say hello, Kamyab.
Hello, you lovely, beautiful people.
Thank you, Kamyab. Right. So, I guess let's just get straight into it, because we've already done our initial reaction to it. So, what did you guys think of the episode, since we haven't got you guys' opinion on it yet? So, Sid, let's start with you. What did you think?
Yeah, I think most people can agree, hopefully, that this was fantastic. This is brilliant.
Yeah.
Great, satisfying. I think most episodes were great, but this one was one of the best.
I agree.
Good film. Unexpected surprises and good character. Got in some good Loki development as well by the end as well. Sets up good stuff. So overall good.
Yep. Jay, what did you think of it?
I liked it to begin with, but thinking about it now, it's just I'm picking out issues with it. Especially, I think I said this to you, Saban, about the multiverse idea. We'll come to that in a bit.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that in a bit. If you
want.
Yeah.
I'm having issue accepting it. I'll explain that in a minute after.
That makes sense. Yeah. Dylan, what did you think? Because I know that you have a slightly different opinion to the rest of us.
I thought it was good. I think there's room for improvement, a lot of room for improvement, especially with the last episode. I thought it was too slow, and I'll get on to more to it later, but I feel like they could have done more with the time instead of just constantly building up, but I'll get on more to that later.
Yeah, and Kamyab, what did you think of it?
Well, on a whole, I loved it. I loved the whole show. The final episode in particular was great, but I think we have to go into that a bit more. But yeah, thumbs up from me.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, as you guys saw in the initial reaction that we made, both of us two love the episode and the stuff that it sets up. So I guess since you already mentioned it, Jay, let's just go into the big thing. Well, actually, Ismail, you decide, because I guess you thought of this idea of a video. So what do you want to talk about first? Because I guess the two biggest things were Kang and the multiverse. So what do you guys want to talk about first? I guess go through.
I don't even know. I think let's start with the multiverse, since it's already been mentioned.
Yeah.
So go for it.
Yeah. So the end of the episode sets up. Obviously, we see Sylvie kill Jonathan Majors' character, He Who Remains, or Nathaniel Richards, or Kang, or whatever you want to call him, even though it's not really Kang, because he's going to show up later. But when he gets stabbed, we see the whole sacred timeline split off into a bunch of branches, and that sets up the multiverse, which I think that's a great idea, a great setup, which could lead to some very potentially interesting things, especially with later movies like Spider-Man and obviously Doctor Strange, and even TV shows and stuff like What If. But I know you said you had a few issues with that, Jay, didn't you?
Yes, because I can understand how it's at the end of the episode, you saw the timelines branching off, right?
Yeah.
Those are branch timelines. A branch timeline is not a multiverse. A multiverse would be a separate reality. Branch timelines is part of the same reality because it would have the same past event.
That's the thing that I thought as well, but I thought about it. I think what they've done, what they're saying is, when a timeline branches off, say when something changes, it becomes another universe. That's my...
Each timeline is a universe.
Yeah, each timeline is its own universe. That's what I'm thinking.
In this multiverse.
Yeah, is their interpretation of it. Because it seems like they merged separate timelines in a multiverse, instead of just having one or the other, which I didn't think was a bad idea.
I don't think it's the same thing, to be honest. That's where I'm having issue accepting it.
I think the Flash has done. I've never really explained that. I think they did it like that. No, they did it separately.
No, they've done it. I'm agreeing with Flash. I know that's a little biased, given my nickname here is Resident Flash.
Yeah.
But what you call it? They explain it in the sense that different we'll call them Earths. Different Earths have different timelines. This is the same timeline, but different variations of it.
But then the thing you could ask about that is
different.
yeah, because the thing you could ask about that with the timeline thing, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, is that they're saying that because things changed in time, that certain things are different. So what could change in time that causes Loki to be a girl, or Loki to be like an alligator, or Loki to be a black guy, or Loki to be a different race, gender, anything? What changes in time for that to happen? That seems like you said, Jay, another like Earth or something. That doesn't seem like the sort of thing where a timeline would change that. At least maybe that's just the way I'm thinking about it. I don't know if you guys agree with that.
Yeah, but plus with all these like future Marvel films, right? You know, like with the Infinity Saga, it's like one film after another, so it's like a continuous timeline. With this, right? Say I don't know, Thor: Love and Thunder or whatever. Is that going to be a branch timeline, or is that the main timeline? Like,
well, I guess we'll find out.
Where does it all?
We'll find out.
Then,
well, I guess
because if it's branch, then these are all just going to be random films. If you think about
it.
I mean, they'll explain it.
Yeah, they'd explain it in the movies, but that'd explain why a lot of these movies don't seem like they really interconnect with each other. Because even when Phase 4 was announced, remember in that Disney Investors video thing, where I was saying that a lot of these movies don't sound like they really connect with each other.
Go check out that video on this channel.
Yeah, thanks for doing my job for me, Jay. I think that this could be a way of explaining it if they are branch timelines. So if not, then they're just like
all the main movies are probably the sacred timeline. And anything that's like weird, like that's a black version of Loki, or that's a alligator, that's different. I think.
Yeah.
I think they'll make it clearer. They'll make it like if it's weird, that's a separate thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Doctor Strange 2, then or Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness or whatever is going to be like. Unless
it's a movie about the multiverse, then they'll have to explain it. Obviously.
Yeah.
If it's a normal movie, then it's sacred timeline, I think.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense. What were you to say, Dylan, about the
one thing that I think they need to address is how in Infinity War, Doctor Strange is like, I've seen all the possibilities, 16 million or however many there is, and there's only one that we win. If there's one timeline, then how can there be 16 million different branches? Like,
well, there's only one way that they win in that timeline, I guess. Because don't forget, Kang says in the episode that he paved the way for all this to happen, so he made, I guess, in a certain way, made it so that Doctor Strange would look at all those different possibilities and see the one that would let them win. I guess.
Yeah, possibly. It could have done, but...
Yeah, that's my explanation behind that.
They'll have to explain that in Doctor Strange too, I think.
Yeah.
They'll try and
Doesn't that also mean that the multiverse isn't unlimited? Because, again, going back to Flash, they say there's an unlimited number of Earths or whatever, but if that's the case, with Doctor Strange, he says he saw 14,605 possible outcomes.
He saw that many possible outcomes of that one situation. That doesn't mean that for all the other situations throughout time, there's not different outcomes for them. So that would explain how there's different Earths. So if there's like a billion different... There's like infinite possibilities pretty much when you think about it. They could change like one slight thing and it's technically another timeline.
But one thing I was thinking as well, Sylvie kills him and that's when the multiverse starts, but it already started branching out before that.
With
I guess that's all... You know, when they're talking to Kang, Kang's like, oh, this all changed it. You can see in the background's already changing.
Yeah.
So, and obviously I know it's always been a problem. It's like, branches always come up by itself naturally and they have to try and cut it out. Was it like that, or was it already doing like big stuff?
I guess since Kang died and he's not there to manage it now, or I guess he who remains, because it's not supposed to be Kang, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, maybe like the timeline, like the universe is like, oh, we know Kang's gonna die now.
So because remember how he said that I know what's gonna happen up to a point. So if you leave me and let me carry on ruling, then everything will be fine. If you kill me, then you could do it yourself, but things are going to get messed up. That's pretty much what happens. But
I guess I guess when them two are together at the end, then that's the changing bit in it. That's the thing that sets it off in it, I think. So.
Yeah. That makes sense.
When she kills him, that's what like Eve accelerates it.
Yeah,
I think
kind of speeds up the process of all the stuff like splitting up and branching off. The only thing I'm thinking that they didn't really address is, you know, when Sylvie bombs the sacred timeline and she makes like a bunch of splits. What was that all about? Because they didn't really explain that, and then it's just like one solid branch in the last episode, and then it splits off again.
We didn't really address that.
Yeah, because I think it was in the second episode, wasn't it, where she like bombs the sacred timeline and just don't address it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really know what was happening.
I think they showed like a couple of shots of like TVA agents or whatever they are going into these timelines, and I guess they fixed them. But I mean, to do that, I feel like they rushed that.
Yeah, that's like the one thing that I was kind of like, oh, okay, that was a interesting thing to leave out. Like, I was a bit confused about that. But in general, with this multiverse thing, I think it's like a really good idea, because now they can just have like infinite versions of every character. So if they wanted to bring back Iron Man or someone down the line, and they didn't want to kind of maybe not have Robert Downey Jr. or have someone else playing Iron Man or something like that, they could do that, which I think is good. And that's probably how they'll explain how Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield come back in No Way Home, if they do. Which I think is
this show is like designed to set out the rules of the multiverse, and then everything else that happens is like, if you need that explained more, go watch Loki, I think.
That's the thing I loved about this episode, though. They didn't, because in the 5th episode, which was like the second last one, they had their big Marvel kind of CGI fight, which I did enjoy as well. But I liked how this one, they didn't kind of do that again. They just took time and made it slow, and just like talked for pretty much the whole episode, just about the rules of the multiverse and how it's all going to work and all that sort of stuff. Which
it wasn't boring as well. It wasn't boring as well. It was just all, and you had character moments in between, so it wasn't like all like boring. Even though the exposition is not even boring from us. Obviously, for some people it might be. Yeah. But I think they did a good job there.
And the fact that they had Jonathan Majors playing like the He Who Remains, the way he played that was like amazing. I thought he gave a great performance. So that's the multiverse stuff, I think. I mean, the other thing that I don't know if you guys saw this I saw it on Instagram or something, where people were saying that it syncs up with WandaVision, where
yeah, you beat me to it, Savannah. I was about to explain that.
Yeah, you go ahead, explain it if you want to.
What you call it? So basically, some people have like discovered that if you go to the same time code, I think it's 27 minutes 30 seconds on the last episode of Loki, and 27 minutes 30 seconds on WandaVision, for both of those, the same time code. In WandaVision, it's the part where Wanda gets her, I'll say her more comic accurate costume, when she's against Agatha Harkness.
In the last episode, I think, yeah.
Yeah, in WandaVision. Like when she gets like the, not like the spandex one, the proper one.
Yeah, where it's like the kind of robe sort of thing with the tiara and all that stuff.
Yeah. When she's getting that, it syncs up with Kang being, He Who Remains, being able to detect like some change or disturbance.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that was. Like, it's Kang being able to tell that, Wanda's becoming more powerful. He can feel it.
Yeah, and I saw another one, because he says, like, we've surpassed the threshold or something like that, doesn't he? And then that's when they show her, like, getting her new powers and new suit. So I assume that was it. And then also there was, like, another one, which I think is a bit more of a stretch, where in that same episode, at one point, He Who Remains, like, drops something. And when he drops something, that's when I think Wanda defeats Agatha and she like falls on the floor or something like that.
Was that at the same time? Was that at the same time?
Apparently, Apparently, they were.
That's a bit coincidental, I think, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm thinking that that's a bit coincidental as well. That it doesn't actually mean anything. But people, you know what Marvel fans are like? They just like go super in depth to like everything and kind of show it like that.
No, actually, no. I think it's the opposite. Actually, I think it's too coincidental not to be true. Then that too.
You think
that dropping thing? That dropping thing. That's the only thing. But apart from that, it's anything else is a bit like okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could be true, but who knows? It's a bit of a weird one, but
I guess it just shows that he has control over everything, which he already does, which he already reveals.
Yeah.
So technically, he oversees everything, doesn't he? So.
And they showed the thing in WandaVision as well. Speaking of that show, with the whole like weird after credit scene at the end where Wanda had the Darkhold, as you could hear Billy and Tommy kind of talking to her. So maybe
they're saying that's the branching of the timeline.
The multiverse. That's what people were thinking. So I don't know if that's true. I hope it is, because that'd be cool. But I don't know. I guess maybe
it's definitely connected. I think.
And apparently, Loki takes place between Endgame and WandaVision. That's what I read online somewhere. I don't remember who said that, but
but doesn't it exist outside of time? It's all outside.
Technically, it does. Yeah, that's true. But I don't know who was saying that. Someone was saying that it was like it takes place between those two movies. I don't really know. I guess that movie and that show. I don't really know I don't know if that was true or someone was just making up some BS.
Well, technically, right, the whole show of Loki is actually a branch timeline.
In what sense? Because it's outside of time, like you said. So isn't it like aside from the timeline?
Because originally Loki was gets captured by the Avengers, like in the first Avengers film, and then obviously, as you all know, the whole storyline of Loki, right? But in this timeline, we'll call it, isn't this him going through the TVA and
what did they prune? Did they prune that timeline then? The one where Loki leaves the.
They pruned it, yeah. So the timeline is he went to Mongolia. And then that's when the timeline ends. That's the different timeline. Then it ends.
Yeah, and they just
when he gets knocked out,
use the reset
it doesn't count anymore.
Get rid of everything. So does that? Oh, actually, well, no, that doesn't make any sense. I was going to say maybe that would explain where that Avengers Tower came from in the Void, but that's not. That was like a Kang one.
Yeah, it's a different one probably.
Yeah, but maybe they just sent all that stuff to the Void then. All the stuff from that. Maybe Captain America got sent there too.
The thing with the timelines, like. Is Loki happen in another timeline or does it happen out of time? At the start of this episode, the last episode, you see when they're playing all the audio from the MCU, you see it goes out of one black hole into another, which is, I'm assuming, two timelines. It goes out of one black hole into another, and then it goes into the Loki black hole where you can only hear Loki audio and WandaVision audio. So I don't really know.
So WandaVision takes place in an alternate universe as well, do you think? Or something like that.
You can hear Vision talking to Wanda, but I don't know. I'm not.
Unless that's just a coincidence of them switching the timelines, because they were just getting more and more recent, I guess. Where they were just showing all the voice clips all the audio clips in order.
Yeah, I think it's just audio over the visuals.
Yeah.
All the audio. I think what I got was all the audio is part of one sacred timeline. That's what I thought it was.
That's what I thought it was as well. Because that's why they ended it off by showing the sacred timeline.
They included real life people, was it Greta Thunberg and Nelson Mandela?
Yeah,
Mandela. And that's all showing this is our world almost, and then everything else is weird.
Yeah.
Weirded out.
Yeah.
So that's no audio from them. So just all the audio.
Yeah, I think that's probably just a coincidence then. But this whole multiverse thing in general is just a great idea, because, I mean, even now when, because remember how I was saying that I thought if Kang shows up in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, whatever it's going to be called, I thought he was way too big of a villain to set up for that. I thought that was going to be a bad thing, but now that they've got this whole multiverse thing, and now that they've said that there's going to be loads of Kangs, because He Who Remains says when he dies that loads of them will show up, and the variants of him are even worse. So I think that the one in Ant-Man won't be the same as the one that shows up in another movie, and he could just show up in all sorts of places. And Ismail, didn't you have a theory about what he could do, which is big, which I think this makes total sense. This makes total sense, and it would be a good way for this character to go out. So, go on.
Yeah, okay. So I'll just discuss this now. So basically, if obviously we know Kang, because he's obviously a big villain, they're going to make him somewhat impactful. And I think, obviously, they've set up the multiverse, but he also might have to maybe kill a few heroes. And I think they can easily use him to kill T'Challa's Black Panther, because he's, number one, a great villain. So T'Challa's death to Kang would be justified. It's not going to be Namor killed him. It's a bit, anticlimactic. Also, I think it makes logical sense, because obviously the different variants of Kang. And Black Panther also comes out before Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we know that Kang's final appearance for a while will most likely be in Ant-Man and the Wasp, so they can do whatever they want with him up until then. So I think it's a perfect way to do it.
I don't know how well that would go down with other people, but I don't know. I think...
Yeah, it's a cool idea. But I don't think they would go through with that idea.
Because I think I don't know how they're going to handle that movie, because, I mean, apparently...
I think they're going to be respectful. I think that he'll die, off screen doing something else. I don't think they'll connect it. I don't think they'll connect it to anything. They'll just do,
Apparently,
you know what I mean?
That movie's had 5 scripts, and they're writing a 6th one now as they're filming it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I think they should plan that out if they were going to do Kang versus, him. You know what I mean?
I feel getting Kang into Black Panther or Wakanda or whatever. I think that would take too much time of the movie to like actually.
He'd have to be like the main villain of the movie then.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
But who is going to be the main villain of that movie? They haven't said, have they?
Maybe Namor for a bit.
That's what people were saying.
Rumored to be Namor, but
that was rumored.
I'd take Kang over Namor. I'm not going to lie. Namor's like
100%.
Yeah, I mean Namor's not a bad character, but I don't think he's like particularly interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know much about his character. But I think he's gonna be half antagonist. Maybe like they'll go against each other, and then at the end they'll be like, "Oh, we're good."
Yeah,
Atlantis.
That makes sense because he has to turn good eventually because he's not like pure evil in the comics. But I thought that was an interesting theory. I don't know. As I said, I don't know if they'd go through with it because it's just how well they would.
Kang could kill any of them in a cool way if it was planned out because he's like the next Thanos now, isn't he?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So. It's possible for him to kill any big character, you know what I mean? So that's cool. He's dangerous. He felt dangerous.
Yeah, I agree with that. He does feel like the thing that I said that I thought was cool. This like first appearance of him kind of reminded me of Thanos' first appearance in Avengers 1, where it was like this is setting up all the sort of stuff that's going to happen in the future. Except this was obviously more long-winded than that. That was just like one scene at the end of the movie. I thought this was like a really good setup for Kang to be the villain going forward. And especially if the thing that I was thinking comes true, where the next crossover movie will be called like Avengers Multiversal War or something, and they'll bring like every version of, so they'll bring all the versions of Spider-Man, because like we were thinking how are they going to top Endgame? That's how they could do it. Just bring every version of Spider-Man, every version of like every character.
War.
Yeah. Okay. Basically just have Secret Wars, and just have all of them just fight Kang in some big war. That would be so cool.
Saban, that actually just sounds like a better version of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
That was just... it started off
so... television. That was on television.
It started off so promising, and then it just went downhill.
That's a whole different...
There's so many good ideas and so many good people, but they just did stupid things with them.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's another timeline.
Yeah, another rant for another day, I guess. But, the whole multiverse thing I thought was interesting. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to say on the multiverse stuff? At all? That you thought was interesting with it?
I just don't think it's done properly. That's about it.
I think it was better they did it. I think it's better... Oh, you go, Dylan, you go.
I guess we'll find out in What If.
Yeah, because What If will be the first like payoff of this, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I was gonna say that like it's better that it's done on television, introducing all this multiverse stuff in hindsight, because it's very confusing. It's still confusing now. So imagine if they try, from a business point of view, don't do it as a movie because they love getting like casual audiences to understand what's going on.
But this is the only thing that's wrong with that. You say it's like better to do with TV. It's all on Disney Plus. What if people don't? All those people who don't have Disney Plus, how are they going to know all about this?
They'll explain it won't matter to them. It will just be like, oh, it's just different versions of the same character. But for people like us who want to know about every little rule, what rules are there, how does it all work? Is it timeline? Is it Earths? You do that on television is better. You know what I mean?
I do
it's like
agree
a sci-fi show.
Yeah,
no
I agree with Sid there because
you know what I mean.
It's like, I feel like that the people who care about it in that much depth would go out and watch something like this anyway. They wouldn't like skip any sort of thing that could have important information. I feel like it's mainly just going to be casual audience members who just go to watch the movies to have a good time and not really think about it too much. Those are the sorts of people who won't care about this, and then they'll just go watch it, be like, okay, that's cool, there's more versions of the characters out in different timelines and universes, and then that'll be it. Whereas for us, we get this explanation.
To the people who are watching this video then, and if you know someone who doesn't have Disney Plus and is a big Marvel fan, recommend this video.
Yeah, I guess we've sort of explained it, but watching it's probably a better idea because the show's amazing anyways. But yeah, Kamyab, did you have anything to say about the multiverse stuff at all?
The multiverse stuff, in particular. See, I haven't been saying anything. I've just been soaking it up a bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
What the MCU loves to do a lot is every stage, every step of the way, they're just constantly setting up something bigger, just like playing up the hype factor. But what I felt all the way throughout Loki, up until the final episode, obviously, with Kang and stuff, it was really, truly character development based. It wasn't like story based. I've heard a lot of people say it was just monologues upon monologues. I felt we were truly focusing on Loki and the characters and stuff, and that's why I think it was the best out of the 3 Disney Plus shows so far.
I agree with that, yeah, because it felt like a character study of Loki. It felt like
really
they were like deconstructing Loki's character and going into what makes him interesting and what makes him evil and how he might not be evil and all that stuff, which I just thought was really interesting.
Just building up what Kamyab said, I think if you look at it, Loki's actually had a really tough time. Like he's shown he can't trust anyone. Like it had that scene where he was looking back at his past and seeing how he died, how his mother died and all that. Then the one person that he could trust in Sylvie backstabbed him. It shows how hard of a time he's actually had.
Yeah, and the thing that I was thinking at the end, at the end, you know, when he's like sitting there after Sylvie's like kind of kicked him through the tempad thing, and he's just like kind of sitting there and he's like looking down, and then he looks up. It looks like he's just kind of snapped. So maybe that's like going to be pure evil Loki now, and he's just going to be like, I don't know about pure evil Loki. Like he wants
I don't know about that.
I think he'll want to fix everything with this whole sacred timeline thing, but he's going to be like kind of pissed off while doing it.
Yeah, that's why I was worried about watching the finale. I was like, oh, this is cool exposition. Oh, this is great by Jonathan Majors. But what about Sylvie and Loki? Are they going to just be left out and we have to wait next movie or next TV show?
Next season, I
guess. In that episode in particular, all the other episodes have been good for that character development. But then they managed to get in that character development the last 10 minutes. And really good, like gut punch to your face, like, oh, Sylvie and Loki are still on opposing sides, but they're also growing closer. They kissed each other, but also she knows she needs to do this for herself because she loves revenge. But she doesn't love revenge, but she needs this. Her whole life's been about revenge, so she has to go through with it.
Yeah.
And I was gonna be like annoyed, like, oh, she can't see it from his point of view. Oh, why are you thinking like he's backstabbing you? Like you clearly like each other. Like why are you thinking? I know Loki's are all backstabbers, but you must.
He's playing hard to get, Sid.
Yeah.
I was invested. I was like, why are you feeling like he's a liar? He's not a liar. He's not a bloody liar. But the good thing is at the end, because I don't think like if you've spent that much time together, you would now know that he's not like that. And she got rid of her anger. She was like, oh no, you are not lying about it, but I'm still gonna go through with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still gonna push you away. That's where the kiss comes from, and it pushes him away. And that was really good stuff. That was all good character development that I needed there.
Yeah.
To round it off.
Yeah, I agree with that. The only thing that I was thinking, like, in terms of, not character development, but, like, just as a character in general, not that I was that disappointed by it, because he was good in the other episodes, I just thought maybe they could have given Mobius a little more to do in the last episode. Maybe just because I love Owen Wilson and I love that character. I thought maybe they could have given him a little bit more to do.
There's no time, really.
Yeah. That's the thing, yeah, there was just no time for it, especially with the way they did that last episode. I don't think it would have fit. So I'm not sad that they didn't do it, but like but if they did, I wouldn't have been sad either. If you get, I don't know how, like, I want to word it.
But when he said he doesn't recognize him, like, who are you? That was like another gut punch.
Yeah, I agree with that, because that one, like, that you did feel that one. That was like, come on, man. Like the interesting thing about that as well was how they were saying that Loki should be alone, like throughout the whole show, and then at the end of the show he's alone again because he's got no Sylvie, no Mobius anymore, and like no one knows him there. He's basically just on his own.
Yeah.
See, I think there's two things that makes me upset about that show. And the first one is that at any point of the show, Mobius never says ka-chow.
Oh, wow.
And the second one is that the MCU just loves to make these relationships between characters like they did with Star-Lord and Gamora previous to Loki and Mobius, and then absolutely just break them down and throw them into the bin. Like, what was all that, like, bonding for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just been thrown out the window.
Yeah, I guess maybe so you feel the heartbreak more at the end. That was what I was thinking. They like really wanted you to feel like the connection between them had just been like completely shattered, and that was supposed to be heartbreaking.
I think the one thing that we all wanted was an end credit scene of Mobius on a jet ski.
Yeah, well, Kate Herron said she wants to see that in season 2, so maybe we'll get that in season 2.
That's the end game.
Yeah. What were you going to say before that, Ismail? Because you were going to say something before.
I was going to say that, to be fair, even though Mobius wasn't like that bigged up in the finale, obviously the thing with him not recognizing Loki in at the end is going to be a very, very, very big plot point of season 2.
Hopefully,
find the OG Mobius. So yeah, I think we'll get a lot more of Mobius because I reckon in season 2 we'll probably one of the starting points might be from the other Mobius's perspective, like the old Mobius, like in a different timeline. Because obviously we don't know what's happened to any of them. We don't know where anyone is, except for Loki in the new timeline, where Kang's the founder of the TVA, and all the TVA members know it. So,
and the thing that I think they won't do, which I'll be happy about, is I don't think they're gonna get rid of the old Mobius from that universe. I don't think Sylvie's like evil or anything. That she's gonna go and kill him because I think that she liked him too. I don't think that's that'll be a thing that they'll do where they'll get rid of the old universe. I think they'll somehow cross over with each other. I don't know how, but I think they probably will. But I think multiverse wise, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about that.
You know what I will add on to the Mobius thing? Obviously, Jonathan Majors' performance was the best of the show. Like, I love that man. He's already building Quantumania for 2 years from now, so I can't wait to see more of him.
Yeah.
He got acted out of his mind. But Owen Wilson's up there, performance-wise. I'd love to keep seeing him in the MCU going forward, because Owen Wilson was great.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if we'll see him outside of this show. I mean, I'd love to. If they did that, I'd be happy.
He'll probably be in season 2.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't think there's any question in my mind that Mobius will be in season 2. 100% he'll be.
Yeah, I thought he was just a comedian, that guy. I thought he was a great actor.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
Lads, there's one thing we haven't mentioned, which I think deserves a mention. Richard E. Grant as classic Loki.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess that was the episode before that, but yeah, I guess you guys haven't talked about that idea yet. But he was my favourite thing in the whole show, probably. I loved Richard E. Grant as classic Loki. I thought he was amazing.
I agree. Very good. I hope we see him again, but that was a good death scene, though.
Yeah. Just even that death scene, the way he went out, just laughing, is just going crazy. I thought that was the perfect way for a classic version of Loki to go out. But yeah, well, what did you guys think about Richard E. Grant as Loki? The rest of you haven't said much about it. Me and Ismail already talked about it before.
I mean, I think all the Loki variants were sick, but I mean, especially the one that I was most hyped about is the alligator Loki, because especially because they showed Throg.
Throg, yeah. No, it's cool. Yeah.
Because they showed both of them, that makes me think that Spider-Ham's also in the same universe, and therefore Spider-Verse.
If they connect Spider-Verse to the MCU, that would be amazing. Could you imagine if they have a scene in Spider-Verse 2 or something where some characters from the MCU, or in Multiverse of Madness, where they go into the Spider-Verse universe and all those characters are animated in the Spider-Verse style? That would be so cool if they did that. I don't know if they would, but
Saban, what if the what if characters end up in the Spider-Verse?
That would be sick as well, I think, because they've got infinite universes in Spider-Verse, I think, based on what they've said about the second one, with Spider-Man 2099 and Japanese Spider-Man and all these other versions of Spider-Man showing up. And then it's even in the first one as well, where they had all the different versions of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I think
whether Marvel wants to do that. So I think Sony would love it. They'll be like, yes. Yeah. Connect everything to us.
Yeah, connect everything. Money. That's what Sony's going to really do.
So we'll see if Kevin Feige made that deal. Because obviously, remember that time when they were like, Spider-Man's not going to be here anymore. It's done. Tom Holland's gone.
I can't see them.
Deal.
I can't see them doing that now, especially with Far From Home's box office, and No Way Home's going to make $1 billion easy. I don't think there's any question about that. Far From Home.
I think No Way Home could reference Spider-Verse movie. It could.
Yeah.
Could.
And then
we'll see.
Eventually, I don't know how happy I'll be about that, but bloody Venom's going to show up in the MCU then, which would be,
I think,
fantastic.
Yeah. If he's not as much of a retard, then yeah. But
Tom Hardy, man. He's winning it.
Tom Hardy's better as Bane. Tom Hardy acts like he's been snorting coke for every scene that he's in those movies. But
I think
what can you say, then?
I think No Way Home's a make or break for Spider-Man in the MCU. But that's a story for another time when No Way Home actually comes up.
I don't know. That Far From Home kind of broke me with MCU Spider-Man for now. But if No Way Home's good, I'll be happy. So if they make that movie,
you know what? It's a very good in for the Marvel Netflix stuff to appear into the MCU as well, especially with Daredevil.
Yeah, and with the whole multiverse thing, if they wanted to, they could just say that the Marvel Netflix stuff is part of another universe, or it's just because I know that they haven't really referenced it too much, and they said it was I don't think they officially said it, but they've all but confirmed that it's not canon as of right now to the MCU. So maybe they could say it's an alternate universe, and that's how they come in. Because apparently, I don't know if any of you guys heard this. I know some of you guys did. That Vincent D'Onofrio's going to come back as Kingpin.
In Hawkeye,
for
sure,
Hawkeye,
yeah.
So
Yeah, I've heard.
If
I think
that's
Daredevil.
Whether they keep the actors for the Defenders, like if Charlie Cox is going to carry on playing Daredevil or not.
I don't even care about any of the other ones. There's three that they have to have. They have to have Charlie Cox as Daredevil. They have to have Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, and they have to have John Bernthal as Punisher. If they keep those three, I don't care about any of the others. Keep those three, it's fine. But I do want Daredevil supporting cast too.
The actor that plays Luke Cage is like a spot-on Luke Cage, to be honest. That is a very good casting.
Yeah, true. I do like. I didn't watch all of Luke Cage. Was there 2 seasons of that?
Yeah, the second season was even better than I think.
Was it? Yeah. I watched some of it, but I didn't watch like all of it. I did enjoy what I saw from Luke Cage, though. I just think those shows that are like a missed opportunity because they didn't do much with them.
Yeah, I think Defenders was a bit
wonky,
disappointing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But if they bring Daredevil stuff in, that'd be perfect. So he's one of probably my second favorite Marvel hero, to be honest.
I agree, yeah. If he shows up in Spider-Man No Way Home, 10 out of 10 movie, I don't care what happens, mate. I don't care.
If he shows up, if Toby shows up, it's going to be the best Spider-Man movie ever made. But I don't know if that'll happen. But I think that's... Is there anything else with Multiverse? Is there any other projects that could have it in there? Eternals, maybe? I don't know about...
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, they were saying with Eternals, what you call it, I can't remember who said it in the trailer, which... I can't remember who it was, but someone said we didn't interfere until now. That's referring to the branch timelines.
Do you think that's what it's referring to?
Possibly, because
they might know about
why wait this long.
I don't know.
Because they want to shove them into like every time period possible, so they can make a more interesting movie. That's why they waited all this time, probably. But I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know what they'll do with that. I don't know. Are you guys like even really interested in Eternals? I'm not, if I'm being honest. I'm not that interested in that movie.
No.
Like, there's nothing about it that's really drawing me.
I am for the actor. The actors in it I like, so...
Yeah, I'm interested in them.
Yeah, the cast is good. The cast is good, and the director's good as well. It's just, I don't think that trailer didn't do a whole lot for me. Like, Shang-Chi, I wasn't particularly interested in that, but those 2 trailers they released look amazing, in my opinion. But...
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
I think they're going to introduce mutants, though. That's the thing. That's the big thing I think they're going to do.
You think so?
I think they are. Because that's what, if I had to, like, it's a big prediction, I'll do that.
That is a big prediction, yeah.
They've got a DNA strand on the logo, they've created the mutants in the comics. It's different from the other, it's different to the way they did it in X-Men, obviously.
If they do introduce mutants, and they could bring, like, Magneto and Wolverine and all those characters, like, Magneto's, like, top 5 Marvel villains for me. So they could bring him into the MCU at last.
And also it connects the obviously you guys, people might be like, well, Eternals, like, what's the point in this movie? Like, obviously they love connecting everything. Yeah. That would be the big thing that, like, people come out of the movie, or big comic book people would be like, that's the thing you remember.
Especially with it being a movie that's, like, lesser known. I think that'd be good. That, like, no one really knows a whole lot about, at least I don't know a whole lot about Eternals. And if they did that would be something to get me hyped for it.
If you're talking about Loki and you're talking about the multiverse, then what this show does more than anything is make hype for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, the 2 movies this hypes up the most are Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, I think.
Especially that when Loki's rumored to be in Doctor Strange.
And Spider-Man. And Spider-Man, apparently.
And Wanda.
And Kang at Quantumania.
Yeah, apparently he's going to be in, like, everything now, which, I mean, that's good. More Tom Hiddleston as Loki, I guess. I can't complain about that. But the thing, like, I'm thinking is, are they going to actually be able to fit him into all these without making him feel forced? Because, like, apparently he's, supposedly, I don't know if this is true, they're reshooting Spider-Man right now and he's doing scenes for it.
No, wait,
that's what they've said. I don't know if that's true. I don't really believe that, to be honest.
Maybe it's a post-credit scene, maybe they should do that.
How many post-credit scenes is this movie going to have?
I reckon what they might do is have all these different, like, Kangs, just, like, the smaller, weaker ones just in these different movies, then have one, like, the main, like Kang.
Kang Prime or whatever they're going to call him.
Yeah, like, in a big movie. Like, they'll probably have smaller ones in different movies where we'll see, like, oh, he's powerful, but he's not too powerful. Then they'll build up this big Kang that we all know of.
Yeah, I think Ant-Man 3 is going to be the big Kang, I think.
Yeah.
I guess it makes that movie more interesting as well.
I agree. So. Yeah, because the past two Ant-Man movies haven't been particularly like large scale or anything like super important happened to them, so they could add that. But I guess this is the perfect segue to go into Kang. So talking about the implications of him showing up, he's obviously going to be the next big bad of the MCU. I don't think that's really a secret now. That's like, he's for sure going to be the villain for the next.
Obviously, I heard like each video like reference like the whole themes of like how Loki introduces Thanos and now Loki introduces this guy.
That's actually like, true. I never thought about that. I never thought.
Yeah,
that's true.
When I saw that on YouTube video, I was like, oh, that's a cool way of looking at it. But it's gonna be cool to see maybe Loki try and step up and be like, no, you're not the big boy. You're not the big bad. I'm the big bad. But I'm trying to be the. Well, maybe he's a good guy now. Actually, I think he's become more good guy now.
Yeah.
So we'll see in it. Go against
Kang. Yeah, but there's the thing that I loved with this whole potentially a billion versions of Kang is they've taken kind of exactly how it worked in the comics and done it so that they can have every version of Kang show up. So they can have like Immortus and at one point was it Nathaniel Richards like Iron Lad or something. I think
yeah, I read that on Insta.
Yeah, so that they could do that. They could have.
He was Immortus in this episode. Oh, I think.
Yeah,
that's the look.
People said that, but because he looked exactly like him, but then he was also He Who Remains is like a separate character. So I don't know what they would.
Might have combined it.
Possibly.
I do like his death scene when it's like how is like his now he's dead. That he's literally like sitting on the chair. He's literally remaining. Mm-hmm. If you think of it like that, he's literally He Who Remains. He's now just sitting there forever. Obviously, I don't know if that's actually. I think it might more imagery than actual, like, it's going to do anything, but it's just in bed now.
Sylvie, like, Boba Fett, or she just, like, threw him off the chair and just sat on it, like, and Boba Fett did that in Mandalorian, but maybe they did that. I wonder what's happening with that now, because I thought a possibility is, with Sylvie taking control of the Sacred Timeline, but then also that Kang statue showing up at the end, that maybe Kang killed Sylvie or something, or has taken her place somehow, like the evil Kang. That's why his statue's on TVA.
I think she regretted it.
You think so?
Yeah, you could see when she killed Kang, you could just see on her face when she realised that nothing's happened, nothing's changed, and she told all these timelines. She looked very worried, like...
Yeah, and she was like
the wrong decision. Revenge doesn't work. It's the classic revenge, or revenge doesn't always help you.
Yeah, like that kind of Last of Us 2 thing, where it's like, revenge is never worth... Like, I think, what's that phrase? When you, like, go for revenge, prepare to dig 2 graves or whatever, she's killed him, but she's basically killed herself, because she hasn't got anything out of it, and now all these different versions of Kang are coming to basically mess everything up.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with Kang's like one of my favourite Marvel villains, so, and I've recommended this before, and I recommend it again. I don't remember which episodes it is, but for those of you who want to know more about Kang, watch Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I said it in the last video, I think.
Oh, anyway. 18. I was watching him 18. Yesterday.
Yeah.
He's 18.
Yeah, that's some good timing. Yeah. So
I found the variations of that Kang. I found that Insta post.
Yeah, there's like loads of them.
There's one called the Scarlet Centurion. The Invisible Woman. It's just Invisible Woman.
Yeah.
Ramatut, I think, or Tut.
Is that like the Pharaoh-looking one, the Egyptian thing? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Egyptian.
Immortus. One that I really do hope they put in for bands, Kangaroo the Conqueror.
That'd be sick. They should put him in with that. You know what they need to do? DC are doing this, so I don't see why Marvel can't. DC are making that Super Pets movie. They need to make a movie with Spider-Ham, the alligator, Loki, Throg, like all these characters just show up. They need to make that.
Yeah, and then they got Iron Lad and King the Conqueror. That's it.
Yeah, so I guess that's all the different versions of it. What did you say about?
I said they could make that Disney Plus show if they wanted to. I feel like
Marvel or something. Yeah,
I'd watch that show.
I would as well. I'd gladly watch that. What would you say, Sid?
Yeah, I was just thinking like it'd be interesting to see if they connect to like Nathaniel Richards and Fantastic Four. I don't know if they would do that, but it's a possibility.
Does that mean? I mean, I don't know if this because obviously he's like quite far down from Reed Richards as a descendant. Does that mean that Reed or Sue potentially could be like either black woman or black guy? Because obviously Kang.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
So
possibly
maybe that hints at casting for Fantastic Four.
But maybe not because his descendant is like.
Yeah. So that's what.
And it's like you don't have to like do that. You can just be like down the line. Someone became
really confirmed in the comics.
Yeah, because he's quite far down, isn't he? He's like from the 31st century or something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
As an introduction, it's pretty good.
in some timelines he's confirmed to be Reed Richards' brother, but that I don't think.
Well, he's his brother. How does that one work? I don't remember that. Maybe that was the thing.
I was reading one comic thing. Online where it was like that in one of the comics that I think it's like, the Watcher, or like one of the like eternal beings in Marvel.
Well, like the Beyond or something like that.
Says something to Kang about Reed Richards' father being his father as well.
Maybe that was like in the 90s where they were doing like the weird,
crazy,
they
crazy
just like
comics.
like where, do you remember like Zorn and stuff? I don't know if any of you guys know about that. Isabel, do you know about Zorn? Where it was like this weird character who was like apparently Magneto, but then it wasn't Magneto. It was Magneto's brother, but then it wasn't actually Magneto's brother. It was like some stupid convoluted crap, and everyone like memes it because it's so dumb. It was like really stupid, but the whole thing with Kang's variants, like I think that's a great idea, and I think out of all the ones that you mentioned, Jay, I think the one that they're gonna have in the final big crossover movie will be Kang the Conqueror, where he'll come.
Yeah, that would make sense.
He'll have like
Kang
the blue
Prime.
mask and the helmet and the proper suit, because we've seen the proper suit on that statue now. The only thing he didn't have was the mask and the helmet. So if he gets that stuff, then that would be like perfect, and then. Obviously, all
that's
the
Kang Prime. That might be Kang Prime, the one who has the control of the TVA just without the helmet, but we don't really know yet.
You see, Ravona's there. Ravona with him.
Oh yeah, I guess we didn't really talk about that. What happened to her? Where she just says, "I'm going to find free will." Which...
That was one good scene with Mobius. That was pretty much the only scene I had.
yeah.
So that was a good scene when it's like, I'm going to search for free will.
Yeah,
and obviously them two a friend enemy type thing. So. We'll see.
And then the fact she says, "I'm going to search for free will," she's gone to find Kang, I guess, and form their like Renslayer and Kang like relationship thing, which was a thing.
Romance, maybe.
Yeah, and I was watching that
the relationship.
What'd you say, Isma?
That's going to be season 2 relationship because
exactly. They might develop it.
Renslayer and Kang.
Do you think Kang will appear in season 2? He'd have to, right?
I don't think there's any time to develop the Ravona relationship, so maybe they'll do that in season 2.
Probably, yeah. Because I was watching the Assembled, like the behind the scenes documentary they put up yesterday.
Need to watch.
Yeah, which for those of you who haven't seen it, I recommend watching that because that's actually really interesting. But the thing they were saying on there, they were talking about how Renslayer and Kang are like a big thing in the comics, and how they wanted to like do stuff like that. So hopefully they do it in another season, which I don't think would be good. But Kang. I mean, that's like one of the best things to come out of this show. Which I saw some articles the other day. I don't want to say like I don't know either way how I feel about it. Where they were saying that the fact that Kang shows up proves that the people who were disappointed in WandaVision weren't wrong. Where they had like every right to be disappointed that Mephisto didn't show up. I don't really know how I feel about that one, if I agree with that or not. But
that's subjective.
I argue that they did WandaVision wrong. Well, I think
it's Quicksilver. That's the only thing for me.
Yeah,
the only thing that was like bait.
That was the main thing that it was like ridiculous. I was like, okay, that's just dumb. Like
that was bait. That was like the biggest hint ever. Whereas Mephisto hints were
that was literally them like dangling a carrot above our heads on a stick and just like making us jump up for like. Trying to, and then it just wasn't anything. Yeah, that was really dumb. But the Mephisto thing, I think there was a lot of references to it. Like
there was a lot. I thought, are they going to disappoint us again with this? Loads of hints, but not enough payback. But there was definitely more hints. To Kang.
Well, actually,
especially with the building as well. But that was...
with the Time Citadel, I think it was called, or something like that. I don't remember what it was called. It had some weird name like that. But I thought at first it was Miss Minutes. Do you remember that, Jay? You got scared.
Oh yeah, I did. I really did.
I don't know how people thought of the jump scare.
What was the point of Miss Minutes?
Just to be like a little
AI. Just had a random heel turn out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think she was just supposed to be jump scare. That's literally her character arc.
Her character arc was a jump scare. Just like they made that whole character to just jump scare you. I mean, it's Tara Strong, so they just put Tara Strong in anything, and I'm alright with that. She's a sick voice actress. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. It's pretty.
Yeah, but
My Little Pony.
Well, if that's what floats your boat, go for it, man. I'm not going to stop anyone from all the Brodies coming out.
It was a random ass heel turn. It was like watching WWE or something.
Maybe we'll see Mr. Minutes. Who knows?
Maybe. Because for the whole show, Miss Minutes did nothing. Like, she was just taking orders and stuff, and then all of a sudden she's the top dog.
Maybe that's like I guess that's like...
Maybe she's a variation of Kang.
Well, like the little cartoon clock is like variation of Kang. That would be amazing. If
I think it was like showing like, because she was definitely like too happy propaganda type thing, and then now she's like the second in command almost. I guess that's why she's now like working with the enemy. She's always been with the enemy. I guess that's what they're trying to show.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe we'll see more. Yeah, maybe we'll see them more talking together. Like, because we never saw Kang actually talk to her. It was a bit like, what's going on there?
It's just a thing of their imagination.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully we see them two talk, Kang and Thingy, and Ravonna maybe talk together.
Yeah.
All together at the same season.
I guess Miss Minutes would only be familiar with He Who Remains, wouldn't she? She wouldn't be familiar with
yeah,
so maybe when the other Kang shows up, he'll like...
who knows though?
Quotation marks kill her, but I don't know. That's true.
Who knows? You might know the whole plan, because obviously Kang's all connected to every Kang.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're all...
yeah, that's true. And especially since like Kang has control over pretty much all of time. Because the thing that I thought was interesting and that makes Kang in a way a bigger threat than Thanos is that Thanos had control over that one universe and just Infinity Stones and all that kind of stuff. Kang has control over like all of time, but even the thing where it was like how Thanos went over, like had to go through all the stuff he went through to get all the Infinity Stones. Kang has like an infinite office just full of them. So that's just kind of, I think that the reason they did that, looking back on it now, is to show like how much more powerful and how much more of a threat Kang is than Thanos, which I thought that was good. But I feel
it made me think. A good friend of mine told me about this theory for like the future of the MCU, of how they're going to bring the X-Men into it and the whole mutants into the MCU. And his idea was that when Hulk snapped, because he didn't do it properly or something, he turned some of the population into mutants at that moment. But now that Loki's happened and we're going forward, if that's still going to stand, they kind of need to hurry up with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that they haven't done more with the X-Men yet. I thought they would have done X-Men before Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult to get them in at this point. Both X-Men, because they're such a huge part of Marvel, and Doctor Doom, which is arguably Marvel's biggest villain.
Yeah.
The only way I can see
wasn't there that picture with Hugh Jackman?
Oh, that he put on
Feige.
Instagram. Yeah, that where Hugh Jackman's teasing that he's going to come back.
Did he?
He put something. He put a picture on Instagram on his Instagram story. I think Boss Logic made a picture with like some claws.
I saw that bit.
Yeah, and then he put another picture after that with Kevin Feige. Him and Kevin Feige there together.
What about Deadpool with Korg?
Oh yeah, that was like an advert for Free Guy. Or
that was actually
That's a timeline.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I think Deadpool's the only character who can just exist outside of the sacred timeline. You can just do what he feels.
Yeah, exactly. More jokes. You can make more jokes with that now as well.
Yeah,
TV and stuff like that.
Maybe Deadpool's the one in control of it all. That would be cool. They could do Deadpool versus the Marvel Universe or something.
Deadpool versus Miss Minutes. That's what I want to say. That's them two could be.
It would not shock me at all if they did that in Deadpool 3, and it would be so good.
There's unlimited ideas you can do.
Yeah.
We're giving it to them. Just listen to us. Listen to anything.
Yeah. The only other way of thinking about X-Men that they could introduce them is maybe they say they've been hidden or something, like to avoid prejudice of mutants. Maybe they were around like the 80s and they just like stayed hidden or something like that.
Like the witches and stuff. Yeah.
And they've just decided that now's their time to come into the limelight or whatever.
Exactly. They could do that. They could even do like, just one universe where mutants exist, now they're here. Like, you could even just do that.
Yeah.
Or you could do the snap thing. I saw that theory where they did the snap and the energy from the snap makes it cosmic energy. You know how they said cosmic energy like went out when they snap? I saw that good. That was a cool theory that it could like make mutants. So who knows? So it's so many ways of doing it.
Yeah. I've got a feeling the reason they haven't done mutants yet is because they don't want to try and recast a lot of the characters. Because I wouldn't want to be in their position. I wouldn't know how to recast Hugh Jackman or Patrick Stewart or... I mean, I know they've recast Patrick Stewart before, but even I wouldn't know how to recast James McAvoy. He's like perfect for it. Or like Ian McKellen and Michael Fassbender, perfect for it. So I don't know how they'd go about doing that.
Yeah, I think Fantastic Four's more forgotten than the X-Men, so it's like put them in first.
And Fantastic Four, considering what their movies have been like, they can do whatever the hell they feel like, and people will say, yeah, that's good. So
they'll take their time.
Yeah. But I guess now is going on to the last part of the video, season 2 theories. So, do you guys have any theories for season 2 of this show?
Not until we see more like Kang stuff or whatever. Yeah. Then we know like what can or can't be done. Because I feel like it's too new at the moment.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm kind of in agreement, like especially with the way it ended. Like, I don't know where they're gonna go from there. I mean,
it depends. It depends when they release it. If it's like next year, then it's like, oh, what's happening? If it's like 5 years down the line, or like 2 years down the line, then it makes a whole other year makes a difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I saw some rumors that people were saying that the show would originally have been about 12 episodes, and the reason that they're making another season now is that they've already got all the other 6 episodes written, but because of COVID, they weren't able to film them, so now they're going to film them like next year or sometime this year and release it next year. That's the rumor I saw. I don't know how true that would be, but
that's interesting. So Kang's meant to be a mid-season reveal, kind of.
If that's true, I don't know if that was true or not. That's what I read online. I mean, it would make sense, but actually would it though? Because actually, no, it would, thinking about it, because apparently Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that had like a whole subplot of a vaccine or virus or something cut out of it.
Yeah.
So that would have been longer as well, but I don't know, maybe this was originally longer, especially since there's scenes in the trailer that aren't in the show. Like the whole scene where Loki's in front of the throne. And all that stuff. I don't know what else they would have done with it.
I think it's because it's multiverse, I think they probably had so much more ideas.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done loads of stuff, but I think ending it now, I think all the information's there. You know how the TVA was made. You know how the multiverse is made. I think there's not really anything you can... The setup's there now.
Yeah. I think
it's all for the movies now. It's all for the movies to explain further now, I think.
Yeah. I think it might be like a blessing in disguise as well. That this has come out before Spider-Man, before Doctor Strange and all those movies, where it's going to explain stuff that will happen in those movies, which I think is good.
Hopefully, unless Sony.
Yeah. I mean,
don't explain.
I really hope so. The fact that Doc Ock's coming back, they just need to explain that. Like, that's the main thing that I'm just scared about. Because I was watching Spider-Man 2 the other day, and I'm just thinking that how are they going to get out of this one? This just seems like an impossible thing for them to get out of. But
yeah, they can do that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Unless it's a different universe, but yeah, no. Who knows?
Yeah, the only theory I'm thinking of for season 2 is that they'll somehow cross over back into the main timeline where Mobius knows Loki and Hunter B-15 know Loki, then they'll kind of like form some super TVA or something where they'll like combine 2 versions of, because in the comics Mobius has like loads of versions. I think there's like Mr. Tesseract and a bunch of other ones. So I think they'll combine them.
I just hope in season 2 Miss Minutes finally develops a character.
I hope they explain more about what she is. I'd like that. Because the fact that they have...
Even if it is just a symbol.
Yeah, because the fact they even have Tara Strong voicing her is like, that's a big, like, she's a huge voice actress. So I feel like they're going to do a lot more with that character than what they've already done. I don't know, it's just me. But...
Yeah, they'll expand, I think.
Yeah. But is there any other theories that you guys had? Sure.
That's it.
What about me? What about you, Ismail? Did you have anything to think about the second season, potentially, what they could do?
Nah, not.
I think we've exhausted all our theories.
Yeah, because I think so as well. Because it's just like it's too new, like you said, Jay, to like think of anything. The only other thing I want to say about the show, I don't know, Jay and Sid, you guys will be able to relate to this, and you might be able to as well, Kamyab. Is it just me, or did this show kind of remind you of Doctor Who in like a lot of ways?
I heard that. I don't think so.
It felt like Doctor Who to me. I don't know, like the not the
in what way?
Like how they were like kind of just the biggest example, maybe in the second episode, where they just like go to Pompeii, or they just like go to random different places, and they kind of have the time hopping. Well, what did you say?
I thought.
My friend who got me into Doctor Who, he's like who introduced me to the show. Mm. He watched Loki at the same time, and he said it felt a lot like Doctor Who actually. So I'm glad you brought it up.
It did, yeah, because I thought it felt exactly like Doctor Who. Not exactly. Well,
somebody made the link. Sorry, Saban. Someone made the link of saying, you know, that Miss Minutes jump scare.
Yeah.
Someone said that, it's a weeping angel effect.
Oh my god, how?
No.
That was a meme, wasn't it? That was a meme that you said. Yeah. They showed like the part with Gemma in Blink where the weeping angels like first shows up, where like actually no, it's not when it first shows up. You know when at the end when like they go to the house and it's kind of like staring at them, and then that Gary guy like looks away for 1 second and turns back, and it's like right in front of him. They showed that part and said it's like similar to the Miss Minutes jump scare, which
which bit again? Sorry,
the bit where in Blink when
I know
what you're about when they're in that Western
that geezer in the house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah. They like compared it to that. I think that's
it's just a meme, I think.
Yeah. But
I think episode 2 and 3, I agree, is like felt more like Doctor Who. Thinking about it.
Yeah,
like they're just jumping through time. He's got the female companion. You could argue like that, but in my opinion, I felt its own different like vibe. You know what I mean? The show,
and even the last episode sort of reminded, like, you know how in Doctor Who they have episodes where they'll just go on like big talks about how things work in the show. So like, stuff like that. The last episode kind of reminded me of that. And even the way it ended was like a Doctor Who style cliffhanger to me, where they ended it in an interesting way. I don't know. There was a lot of it that reminded me of Doctor Who. I can see why people would think it's not like that, but then I can also see the people who say that it is like Doctor Who, because I felt it was like that.
I felt it was his own thing, like even down to the music, like that. Like the music's so good as well.
Yeah,
like,
the
it felt like its
amazing. Own. The music is like
cool thing.
The best music in the MCU since like
yeah.
I don't know which.
It's in my head. It's still in my head.
Yeah, it was really good. But I guess that's about it, isn't it? I think what a show that I loved. Like,
yeah, sure.
I loved every episode pretty much. Aside from the third one was like okay. I didn't think it was like bad or anything, but I thought the other ones were like amazing. I loved it. So yeah. Do you guys have anything else?
You know what? It's only the beginning, so hopefully the whole multiple branches, multiverse stuff gets ironed out in the future, and you'll like it more, Jay.
Especially since this is the first season. Like most shows have a somewhat rocky start in their first season to get even better, so hopefully it gets even better, which I'd be happy about. But I guess that's about it. So do you guys have anything else to say about the show?
I've got one final point.
Go for it.
It's about like how you're saying it's a cool introduction to like a new villain.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know much about Kang except for like the theories and stuff like that. But this is a good introduction. I thought like it almost reminded me of Reverse Flash, like the whole 31st century scientist. And all the different variants. It's like almost different time remnants.
Yeah,
like in a good way, obviously, because sometimes the storyline isn't the best in the Flash. But it reminded me of the cool bits of the Reverse Flash, where it's like a scientist becoming evil, or finding different versions of himself, and that made them feel more threatening to me, because obviously I watched the Flash.
And my brother was saying that as well, where he was saying they could maybe turn Nathaniel Richards into maybe the MCU's version of something like Harrison Wells, where they just have like loads of versions of him that are way different from each other, but do equally interesting things.
And it's not totally evil, because obviously in the Flash they made it like kind of like he's acting like a good guy.
Yeah,
he's trying to be good, controlling everything. So yeah, that's it. That's my final point.
Yeah, do you have anything to say about that, Jason? You're the Flash expert here.
What Sid is like? No, not really. I mean, that is pretty much it. What Sid said.
Yeah. So I guess it's about it. So if you guys have seen the episode of Loki, let us know. Well, like the entire show, I guess. Just let us know what you thought in the comments. If you haven't watched it, I don't know why you're watching this video, but thanks for watching anyways. Be sure to check out Sid's channel. Link in the description. Top Man Sid. Be sure to subscribe to that. Be sure to check out Kamyab's channel. Kamyab, Comedy Combos. Check out Comedy Combos. And Dylan, what was your channel called? Do you want to tell us that?
No.
Sharma plays.
Okay, well, you can go on. You can go on a hunt to find it on Kamyab's channel if you want to look for Dylan's channel. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Be sure to check out our Instagram and Twitter, link in the description. Be sure to check out Jay's Instagram. Jay, do you want me to put the link in the description?
Yeah, go for it. Again, I said this in the Black Widow video. If you're looking at this, or you view any video, and I'm in it, send me a DM and saying Pop Culture Clash, and then what video you found me from, and then I can accept you, because I'm on a private account.
Yeah, so there's your instructions for Jay's Instagram. Yeah, be sure to check out our Instagram and Twitter, links in the description. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. See ya.